Elie.
Yes, sir.
Now, I want you to comment this. When last did you visit Bamenda? Long ago. But you've been
Why?
seeing images coming
Yes, I've
from
been seeing. Yes,
Bamenda.
Yeah. I've gone to Bamenda only once, and it was at night, midnight, something like that, with an uncle of mine who is now dead, Njambe Moise. And we went there to see John Funde.
Moise Albert
Njambe, yeah. It was 1997.
Doctor.
It was very late at
SOS
night.
dialogue.
That was the XOS dialogue. Yeah, yes.
Yeah. But now, him who did not understand, he did not understand Mancho BBC before, the Coffin Revolution man, who was not talking about the Anglophone problem. In Bamenda, he was talking about the roads, the situation of the roads in Bamenda, why there's a government delegate, and then the roads are bad and all that. He's been sent to jail now. And the state of the roads, somebody is coming from Bamenda, a person who did not understand Mancho BBC, and now understands him and the suffering of the people of Bamenda.
Yes, Larry is an honest man because he has just confessed that at first he never understood what was really kicking, what really inspired or was encouraging Mancho BBC to take that desperate measures of moving with his coffin. And I really admire people like Mancho BBC. If all Cameroonians were behaving like Mancho BBC, we would not be in this mess today. I think a while ago you saw a Nigerian comedian.
I would die.
Yeah, because we have this youth of today. All is that we want money, we look for women, we drink, we have no future, we think of nothing. So Mancho BBC.
Between Elie Smith and Senator Cletus, who is richer? Silly
Gold,
questions.
yeah, silly
questions.
question. Exactly. Which is that we live in a very stupid culture today because our youth are irresponsible. But then you have those islets of people who are encouraging like Mancho BBC, because Mancho BBC, contrary to what people think, he was not talking about Anglophone problem.
No.
He was talking of a problem that happens all over Cameroon,
Yeah.
where you have incompetent, corrupt people at the helms of affairs. As a man said, this Nigerian comedian, I really like him. We don't have leaders, we have dealers. So when you have a corrupt individual who is heartless, the other day I saw him here come to Douala and was running his mouth with these chiefs of Douala. I understood, but anyway, I was not even interested in
what are you talking
the
about?
Government delegate of Bamenda, right?
Yes,
I think he was here in Douala.
Yeah, he ran his mouth.
Yeah, he was running his mouth here, and people were trying to receive. I don't want to listen to such a person because those are people who are irresponsible. They don't deserve to be where they are. Mancho BBC was right today. He will be right tomorrow.
Condemn the attitude of the government delegate because
Yes.
it was like he was against the government delegate.
Yes, it's a very corrupt fellow who is there. He has done nothing in Bamenda. But since he's appointed by Paul Biya, you know, we are living in a country whereby, and the thing is that if Paul Biya is where he is, it is our fault because we are small Paul Biyas at our own houses and things like that. We don't have the courage to say enough is enough. Because if we had that courage, if we had a number of Mancho BBCs, because Mancho BBC can also come here in Douala and do the same thing, because
he wanted to do that in Boya and then go to other parts of the country, but he was stopped by police.
So we want other people here in Douala to become like the Mancho BBCs, because Douala is also as bad as Bamenda, but Bamenda is worse because, as Larry has said, I have not gone, but I'm planning to go there myself now because I want to make a kind of whirlwind tour around in the northwest region and the southwest region as well to look at what is going on in Bamenda. And then it's not as if I have any doubt, but I think
the situation is bad.
Yes.
Now, Larry, you went to Yaoundé. You met with Joseph Wiriba. What did he tell you?
First of all, I had this admiration. You know, when you admire somebody, then you meet with him. You see, you are in kind of
Former
respect.
English teacher.
Yes, and he really speaks English very well. He's very fluent in English language. He commands the language very well. Well, he told me that he is a Cameroonian, he is a patriot, and that he is defending the people of West Cameroon. And he put it metaphorically that if you cannot defend your mother, then you will not be able to defend the country or any other, an entire family.
You start by defending your family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I saw him, contrary to what people have been saying, and shame onto some of our colleagues who were giving him, making him names, telling me things. He is a patriot. He wants this country to change. And if you want Cameroon to change, you must at least have a base. The base is West Cameroon. West Cameroonians have been discriminated in this country. And then the other thing is that, I'm sorry to bring this thing, because the architects of the problems of West Cameroon are West Cameroonians themselves, because most often we run away,
We shy away from...
Yes,
yeah.
we don't stand up and confront the adversary. And I think a man like...
We go condone with them, take
exactly,
money in our pockets,
we
and
don't
we are happy.
We don't want to speak English like the Prime Minister of Cameroon, who
always speaks French.
Always speaks French because he wants to please Paul Biya and the Francophones. And good for him because they're humiliating him daily. They don't care. But the thing is, Wilbur is an extraordinary man. And I love him. I respect him. And we need such people in Cameroon because... And you have to understand that those who want change are always anti-conformist. And that he has done something very good. And that SDF MPs need to do the same thing. He brought the battle not on the streets, not on the peripheries. He took it into parliament, which is a very good thing.
After the protest march in Bamenda and in Boya, that's when he brought it in the National Assembly. Concerning the reaction of his colleague, what did he tell you?
Well, I will be very sincere. He's disappointed with his colleagues. He's disappointed. And I also think that he's right because contrary to the lies that Osin came and said here,
Onobusi.
Yeah, he was lying. That okay, the SDF, no, it's a lie because if the SDF had this solidarity around Wilbur, when
defending any MP,
when they are, because start for you, love. The Bible says love your neighbor as yourself. Yes, so the SDF MPs have to show love for Wilbur. When Wilbur had this problem, when the march session opened, they just came there like business as usual. They would have marched out of parliament to show that they really have a solidarity vis-a-vis with, but they did not do that. The problem with most of the hierarchy of the SDF, I don't have any problem with them. I'm not a militant, but I have to speak the truth.
Yeah.
The problem I have with most of them is simply that they have come to Yaoundé, they have become very rich. Most of them are more interested in having their contracts, but the paradox is that the only other person who spoke for the Anglophones and who even called the Francophone the virus was Martin Oyono, from the South region, Kribi.
From the region of the head of state.
The region of the head of state.
He even organized a press conference.
Exactly. But you have these Anglophone, hypocritical MPs from the SDF, from the CPDM as well, because there's one guy from Momo Division who is an MP of something. I don't know. I don't want to even know his name. But he came on a program called Press Hour on CRTV and was trying to say things which are not true. But Wilbur is a wake-up call for the Anglophones and for the SDF in itself. The SDF needs to really carry out a kind of thorough introspection and regarding their future. Because if the SDF cannot defend the Anglophones for Christ's sake, and it's not a shame to say we are defending Anglophones, then how can they pretend to rule Cameroon? You must start from somewhere. And I think Wilbur
in the face of injustice, you must speak out. Yes,
Wilbur is an asset for the SDF. My fear is that since the SDF are what they are, perhaps they want to kick him away. But if the SDF kicks Wilbur out of the SDF, then that would be the end of the SDF. I think the SDF now, well, we commit mistakes generally. I think they committed mistakes because they have enriched themselves a lot. They have forgotten about their bases. They should now think that Wilbur is an asset for them. They should learn from what
when you were talking with him, did you have the impression that Wilbur wants to hit the SDF? He wants to create a political movement in the SDF?
No. Not at all. He's a kind of man who is not ambitious. His ambition is West Cameroon. And when you are fighting for an oppressed people, because the Anglophone, the West Cameroonians have been marginalized, humiliated, they have lost into this union, he is not for the SDF. He is for West Cameroon and for Cameroon in general. Because if you can help the Cameroon government to understand that the foundation of this country were two countries of equal status
that came together
in 1961, if you cannot talk about that boldly, then there's no reason for you to pretend to want to rule this country. So I think that he has no ambition. On the contrary, I felt that, and I discovered that he has such a respect for John Frundi. I said,
he's calling him Papa.
He calls Frundi Papa. I said, but look at this man who was unable to defend you, yet you respect him. But he said yes, because he is what he is today because of John Frundi. But he understands that John Frundi might have made some... He's under pressure, but he has no plans to take over the SDF. He has no plans to challenge Frundi. His plan is West Cameroon.
An
injustice in Greater Cameroon, but that we should see how this union
Elie, being a journalist, a professional, the professional you are, didn't you like want to know, because Abime Paul Abine was the same in the CPDM. He came out, spoke out his mind when he was this parliamentarian, and then later left the party, and we know what's happening with him today. Is he not afraid? Did you ask him that question?
Yes.
Is he not afraid that the same story
Yeah.
might have the same fate like
Yes.
Aya?
Like Aya, that
Abine?
is speaking out, and then at the end of the day, he's arrested,
He's appointed
right?
and then arrested.
Yeah, he says that he came back because he wants to bear the brunt of everything that was going to happen. So he's ready for arrest. He's even ready for the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
He knows that Aya got the same. Aya was arrested in a very bad manner, primitive manner. He's in jail today. He knows about the situation of Agbobala, because Agbobala, Fontem, Mancho, BBC, and the others, they have done no harm. They have committed nothing, no crime. Their only
crime is fighting against injustice.
Fighting against injustice. So he is ready for that. That's what he told me, that for too long, Anglophones have been running away, but he thinks the best thing is to stand, come back, and confront the whole thing. If you want the future of Cameroon to be bright, you should at least have a base. You should have somewhere a kind of pedigree where someone can judge you. And the only place where we think people can be judged is to say that the foundation of this country is respected, restored. Anglophones should no longer be humiliated in this country as they have been humiliated. They should be respected. And what he's doing is that he's ready for the ultimate sacrifice. He's a very bold man, a wonderful man. Contrary to what I have a friend of mine, D. Mancho, who came here and was saying that Wilbur was a coward. No, he's not a coward. What Mancho BBC for what D. Mancho, who was accusing Wilbur of being a coward, was that D. Mancho forgot that this government is so heartless. It is worse even than the apartheid regime of South Africa. They have respect for nothing. So I think it was a tactical retreat for Wilbur. And
prepare
then
himself to come back.
Then prepare himself.
Every battle is like that.
Yes.
Yeah, you can retreat and then come back.
Yeah, he's really a sword warrior, and I like people who are so bold to confront this evil regime. So I like him.
You like him.
Yeah.
Me too, I like him. I like his courage. That's why we're doing what we're doing here. You understand that one time in history, the history of this program had difficulties. Had some difficulties.
Exactly,
because,
I like that, Clayton. But you are doing a very good job for the cause.
Very open-minded and then vocal about what is happening. You were in Yaoundé, the diaspora. The people see is the government diaspora came to Cameroon. They were at the Congress Hall talking about development, looking for finances to. And there's this newspaper. The Eden newspaper is saying that it's an illusion, that the conclusions are illusion.
Yeah, it's an illusion because there's a kind of contradiction, Cletus. At the same time when they were holding that so-called diaspora meeting, which was a kind of cherry-picking of those who are good for the government who came in Yaoundé, they arrested an Anglophone man, a Southern Cameroonian, a West Cameroonian, who is a diasporian.
In Douala.
In Douala.
And they even sent him back.
He
went through Nigeria back to the U.S.
Yeah, don't you see that it's contradictory?
Yeah.
You cannot, at a certain point in time,
have the good diaspora and the bad diaspora.
The bad diaspora. And I want to make something to you very clear. Someone told me at Hotel Sawa, they don't want diaspora, they don't want this problem of dual nationality because they are afraid that there's a lot of Bamenda people outside. You know, when they talk of Bamenda, it's a kind of generic terms for all Anglophones. Yes. Yeah. That if they come en mass, they're going
5 million who are outside, most of them are English-speaking Cameroonians.
That they're going to change the dynamics of the country. No. If the country is serious, diaspora everywhere do help their country.
And even, Larry, Elie, I'm not cutting you. Even those who are Francophones are becoming slowly but surely Anglophones.
Yes.
I read the write-up about a Francophone brother, Aman Len, who's Bassa, and he was saying that Francophones are like a virus to the development of this country. That thank God that his father sent him to Boya, and he spent just 1 year in Boya, and that thing transformed him. He was like wondering about the attitude of our Francophone brothers, and like even there's another one. Mathieu Yumbi was saying that he only God knows why he was not born in Boya or Bamenda. So it means there's a serious cultural problem with the French language and the attitudes of the French.
No, there's a problem, right? Let's make it clear. The French of Central Africa. Because when you go to Senegal, they are francophones as well. When you go to Benin, they are Côte d'Ivoire. You go to Mali, you go to Niger, they are francophones.
So what's that thing that is destroying the Central African francophones?
It's anthropological. I think we should take some time one day to analyze that. If you want, maybe tomorrow.
Yes.
Because I think it's an anthropological problem that is disturbing the people of Central Africa. The thing is that they like to wine and dine. They don't have this culture of fighting. They like just to dance. Don't you see that they have Kofi Olomide, Petit Pays, and things like those? Franco, Malox, people who are just vulgar in the way they do things. That's the people of Central Africa. And then it's
because you're right. Because even in Côte d'Ivoire, the guy who can consider the bad boy of Ivorian music doesn't sing sex.
Good.
Arafat.
Yeah.
He doesn't sing sex.
But here, you hear this man called Malox, an indecent person, insulting people. You have one guy called Franco promoting immorality of the worst order. You know, you have them. But it's a culture, we have the people we have. But now about the diaspora thing is that it is an illusion, as the paper said, because you will not cherry pick those you want. And then you will not at one point refuse those who have dual nationality. And then at the other hand...
And at the same time, most of them have dual nationality.
Exactly.
You see them go vote when the American elections...
Exactly.
You see them go vote during the French elections, but they are fighting others.
Exactly. So I think what they did in Yaoundé was a waste of taxpayers' money. And then again, the Prime Minister went there and spoke only French. Terrible. You see, now what type of image... And he is the one who inaugurated the multicultural and bilingual whatever commission. And yet he cannot be an example to promote English in this country. He's a shame, the Prime Minister of this country.
Philemon Yang to you is a shame. Did you see the image on Facebook portraying the riches of the Minister of Higher Education, Jacques Famdongo?
No, I did not see that.
Did not see that one. Yes. Check it out. You see,
so it's so wealthy.
Yeah, apparently it says these guys are very wealthy. Being a minister and multi-billionaire. Okay, Elie, thank you for coming, my brother.
You're welcome.
But before you go, let's just have our food for thought on the screen. You have the images you brought from Yaoundé. We're going to be airing them just after you. Every woman needs a man with a little Christian grey in him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to add something, but I think...
Okay, add, then we'll come to
what I want to add is that the interview of Wilbur will either be broadcast tomorrow or this evening, but maybe that's an excerpt of the interview that I had with him that's going to be broadcast right now. Okay.
An excerpt.
Yes.
Now, food for thought. The food for thought. You are not finished?
Yeah.
That's it. Every woman needs a man with a little Christian grey in him.
It's true, yeah, because if you are a Christian, you have a kind of good manner of doing things. So I think because if you're not a Christian, you will not respect your wife. So Christianity wants us to respect our wives, and that's the reason why every woman needs a good practicing Christian.
Thank you, Elie.
Thank you, sir.
Except of the interview with Wilbur, I told them that we'll be having Wilbur on the program this week, and I sure on a special interview you did with him in Yaoundé, except of the interview.
What do we need to do? All right. Now, that is the attitude of a complete master. In fact, I would say that's the attitude of a slave master, because they never see themselves sitting down with the ordinary mortal to talk about what? Because if they believe in equality, why is it so difficult to sit down and talk? All right. And I'm now challenging them. If you think that sitting down and talking to us from West Cameroon, we are so lowly that you cannot talk to us, okay, let's choose a moderator who might perhaps be, I don't know, the AU, the UN, or whatever. Choose one that we can talk through to you, the master, since you have taken this superior stage and believe that we either take what you give or you push the rest of us to jail. Like you've pushed Como, Ayapol, Fontaine, Mancho BBC, and the rest of them. Okay. Because you cannot fix the problems of a country by chasing people with guns. More so, chasing an MP, the constitution that the president swore to defend, protects me and him. And if somebody can choose to put it on the side, to be chasing me like a common criminal, then something is wrong with this system. and not with the people who are challenging it, like me or the people of West Cameroon.
Yeah, but now you're absolutely correct in the way you are defending your project or whatever, or the campaign you are championing. I would like to ask you, because in your response, I want to come back when you said, like in the SDF, is it that the SDF, they are no longer, I mean, the hierarchy of the SDF, I mean, from the chairman, the MPs, the senators, they are no longer attuned to the reality, or let me put it simply, like the balance in Bamenda in the southwest region is that have they eaten soya? So that is the reason why they are afraid to stand up to defend someone like you.
Well, I don't want to go to that because those are side issues. The point is, every political organization, like any other in the world, needs to learn to be sensitive to the issues that relate to their people. Personally, I believe there is something that the SDF ruling class has missed in this particular problem. They are missing something. If anybody believes that, like I gave you the example, that standing up to defend your mom or your siblings, like I said, in our warrior culture, standing up to defend them now means that you have now abandoned the other people. I will beg to differ. In fact, the only way you can defend the rest of Cameroon properly is to teach the rest of the world how you can defend your own first. Charity begins at home, and we're starting from home. So if you can defend them that well, and your party was given Cameroon, then you can defend the rest of Cameroon. Nobody should feel guilty. That includes my party, that includes everybody else in this country, that you shouldn't feel guilty defending what is yours. Because by defending our people, you are telling the rest of the country that that is how you can defend them as a party if you had the opportunity. So if you start suddenly feeling that if you identify with whom your mother is, then the rest of the people are going to run up against you. Personally, I prefer to defend my mother and you run against me.
Okay, which means, if I understand from your interpretation, the SDF has lost touch with the reality, so they don't have that capacity to govern this country anymore. Because if they cannot defend, let's metaphorically speaking, their mother, which is their base, this Anglophone Cameroon.
No, to the contrary, instead, I told you there is something they are missing. And what they are missing is the feeling of the people of West Cameroon.